before dark.
Hey guys! So it's been
700
years. I'm now 719 years old. So today we're just going to film just another video in our boys
edition
video series. What do you do when you like a boy? What should you do? What are the right moves to make? Say he is a friend of one of your friends and you guys met and you're like, hey, he seems pretty cool. I want to hang out with him more often. So what you could do is, instead of just being like, let's go on a date, you could just kind of like ease into it and be like, hey, like a group of us should go to a movie, go bowling, go get some dinner,
and some nachos.
Mostly nachos. There's that approach. So then you can, you know, like hang out and like spend more time together and, you know, get to know each other without like
creeping them out.
You know, without, yeah, exactly. Without being like so forward about it, being like, hey, I'm kind of really interested in you. Let's go on a date. Then that rejection part isn't really there either, you know. He could be like, hey, like I'm not into you like that, and then your heart's not broken. But if you're in a group setting, then, you know, it's a little bit easier.
Plus he can see how awesome you are with other
because
people.
you tend to be yourself with around your friends, you know, instead of just like in like this awkward situation where you're like, oh, this guy doesn't really know me and I don't want to be myself because I'm weird. Say you guys went to a movie. So you always like have to find ways to be like close to him, you know?
Got it, yeah. You have to be able to sit next to him. No, you gotta like make the line. You gotta ring the line.
You have to like, when you're walking into the movie theater, you gotta set it up beforehand being like, okay, I'm behind and that means I'm gonna sit beside him.
And then when he happens to sit next to you, you'd be like, oh my god, look who's sat next to you.
I didn't even plan that at all, but you did. You did. Or, you know how at the movies there's like those combos of like popcorn and drink, and if you know how, you know, sometimes you share it, you could be like, hey, do you want to split?
Because you're not being obvious, because
you know, you're just being a friend.
Yeah, you're just like, oh, I just want to split money because I don't want to pay the full price.
Yeah, and I'm not gonna eat this large thing of popcorn and 2 drinks. Like,
so really, you're just being
for
smart.
2 people. Right. And he's gonna, well, you know, if he says yes, then you guys have to sit beside each other because you have to share.
It's not like you want to pass your popcorn over 6
people. Or like, say you guys are going out to dinner, you could like sit beside him or like across from him so that you guys are talking. I feel like not like on a date, but like in a group of friends, when I go out somewhere and like I like this guy, I like to sit beside him more because we can talk to each other easier instead of like shouting across the table.
Yeah, that's more of a date thing to sit across the table.
Yeah.
That's a good approach. Our second one is to find things about him that he likes.
Yeah.
Do whatever it takes.
Even if you don't like those things.
No, you don't have to like the same thing.
You just pretend.
Like, oh my god, he's into soccer. I'm gonna pretend to be a kick-ass soccer player.
I played soccer one time. Just like go to their soccer games or or like play FIFA with them or something. Even if you're not good at video games, they might let you win.
And then they'll teach you how to play better.
Yeah, exactly. Or like say he's into like Harry Potter.
Yeah, or like
like something like that. And you could just be like, oh, me too. And then just study everything about Harry Potter that you could possibly know. And do everything. And then you guys can have a little conversation about that.
Yeah, TV shows. I mean, that's what Netflix was created for.
So yeah, you could just like study everything that he likes, or just be into everything that he likes, so that way you guys have something to talk about. Unless it's something that you really don't like, then maybe don't risk it, you know?
Yeah, because then it can get real bad in the future.
It can get real bad. Like, it's cute, kind of like, oh yeah, I totally pretended to be into soccer when we first met. Like, that's kind of acceptable. Like, he'd probably get over it.
Yeah, he'd get whatever. It's just
but if it's like, I pretended to be Jewish, like, I think he might not get over that one.
Yeah. I needed you to like me, so I pretended to be Jewish
for you. I thought you would appreciate it.
Yeah, don't go that far.
Maybe don't.
That's gonna kick you in the butt when you're getting married.
When you're probably engaged.
Or religious beliefs.
Yeah.
Don't mess those things up.
I mean, sometimes if there's like a few things that aren't common, you know, like, then you can like learn about it, you know? Be like, oh, really? Like, oh, you like to play hockey? Oh, maybe you could teach me how to skate.
Because
Lord knows I don't know how to skate. So just kind of find common interests, even if they're not common, you can pretend they are. Yeah. Then you guys have something to talk about. Because if you don't have any common interests, then it's just like,
well, it's hard and it's awkward and it's like,
what do we talk about? Oh, here's a good one. Here's a good reason to get his number. So say like you're like, oh, I can't find my phone. Can I use yours to call mine? And that way you have his number, he has your number. You have no excuse not to text each other unless you're just really awkward and I don't want to because that was me. Gotta use those emojis, ladies.
Oh.
Use them.
That's what they're there for. God gave us emojis.
To use them for flirty texts or even like snaps, because you know sometimes they like to see your face. One time I Snapchatted this guy and it was like we liked each other and it was like early in the morning and I was like, why are you Snapchatting me when I just woke up?
I'm looking nasty.
But like, you know, you do the cute little like cover your face with a blanket and like be cute.
And it's dark, so
at night that works too, you know?
Yeah, because you're kind of just like in the dark too. Even if you send an ugly one, I mean, it's gone in like 3 seconds.
And maybe they'll find that like cute. They'll be like, oh,
like, she's a great personality.
Is so self-confident.
She's so comfortable with me.
She is just comfortable with herself and me that she can send me this
ugly
kind of unattractive
but she's still kind of cute.
But she still kind of looks cute even though she's rocking 8 double chins. You just gotta work those emojis, work those snaps, work those texts. Even if you don't give a poop about what he's talking about, you pretend to. Be like, oh, I just got out of hockey practice. Oh my gosh, how'd it go? Oh, well, you know, I don't think I really did my best. I feel like I could have given it more. Be like, oh, I'm sure you did great. I'm sure you're the best one on the team.
So lie.
Make him think that he's the top notch.
Because in your mind he is, but in reality,
you could probably be doing better, you know? Next.
The classic approach. It works good in school. I mean, if you're not in school, then you're never gonna see him, let's be honest.
Yeah,
I mean,
it's unless you like actually put an effort into being like, hey, let's hang out. You probably will never see him like a lot.
Yeah, you know? A lot. Unless you have like a party or something.
Yeah, or unless you're like group of friends always hangs out, or unless you text your friend who's friends with him and is like, let's hang out, but make sure you bring Frank or else I'm not coming.
In high school or in middle school, you gotta find ways. I know we mentioned it before with hanging out, but this is a different kind of close. This is like kind of your kind of borderline stalkerish.
A little bit.
Really
a little bit, not gonna lie. This was definitely me in high school. Like you have to like find out which classes he's in. So you can talk to the people in those classes and he will see you. Basically the goal is for him to see you everywhere. Notice you. Hang out with his group of friends. If they're sitting at a table at lunchtime, be like, you go sit I'm gonna sit with that table at lunchtime. Sayonara, friends. I'm sitting with this guy.
Because, you know, your friends will always be there, hopefully.
But when the guy breaks your heart.
Yeah.
Maybe
that's what friends are for.
They'll come back and
maybe they'll be like, oh my god, she's sitting over there. She's trying to make new friends. Let's go join her.
Let's go join her. So it's or you could just be like, I could be like, hey Hayley, you know, I really like Frank. We should sit with him today. You know, like maybe bring a friend with you so it's less awkward.
That's probably a better way to go because then you're just kind of like up and down and just
and he's like sitting with all his guy friends and be like.
And you gotta bump into him.
And be like, oh, I'm so
sorry. If you see him at the other end of the hallway and you're at this end,
boogie your butt down there.
You gotta go that way so you can run into him.
And be like, oops, sorry.
I'm so sorry.
Maybe like actually drop all your books so he has to help you pick them up. Or if you're like, say your group of friends is here and his group of friends is here, you could just be like, oh my gosh, that was hilarious. Obviously more real than that.
And then he'll be looking at you from his friend group and then
you know, when someone's looking at you and you're laughing, that's just perfect, you know? It's like one of those movie moments where it's like in slow motion and you're like, and he's like looking at you and you're like, and you just look cute because you're like laughing and happy, you know?
I bet that's not how we look at all.
No, we probably look like gremlins. But we can dream. We can dream.
So noticing. They need to notice you.
Last one.
The classic.
It is the classic. Everybody does it. Say, I liked a guy named Aaron. And you know, Hayley is kind of friends with him, you know? So I could be like, hey Hayley, I really need you to talk to Aaron for me because I just need to see like if he's on the same level as me, you know, if he feels the same way. So then Hayley would go up to him and be like, you know, just sort of casual, not go up to him and be like, who do you like? But like just casual, like, oh hey, how's it going?
Ease your way into
what's up? What's been going on lately?
And then pop the question.
And then be like, hey, so like, have you been like crushing on anybody lately? Like, is anybody interesting you, sparking your interest? And then if he's like, oh, you know what, actually, that girl Melissa.
Damn.
And then you could be like, oh wow, cool, you know what?
I'm gonna go now.
I'm gonna go, bye. And he'll be like, what? Wait, and you'll be like, yep, sorry, late for class. Even though lunch just started.
And then you run back to Melissa.
And then you run back to me.
Wait, subtly. Wait till you get around the corner.
Yeah. And then you're like, oh my god, Aaron is totally digging ya. He's digging you.
He's digging you. And then you're in. Oh! Say if you're in the same class and you suck at a subject.
Ooh,
and you know that he is smart as hell. You can go to him for help. That gives you an excuse to text him too.
Yeah.
Because you could be at home and be like, I really don't get this.
Be like, hey, did you do the pre-cal homework? Because I'm really not getting question 7. Maybe you need to come over and tutor me. But you know what that means. Or you could pretend, you know, like in Mean Girls, pretend to be really bad at math. Hey, I need you to check my pre-cal work just to see if I did it right. He's like, oh, actually, like, you didn't put
that there and you didn't round the one.
And you didn't put the X in the thing. And then I'll be like, oh, can you show me how to do it? And he'll be like, yeah. Be like, oh, Aaron, you're so funny and smart. And when you are hanging out, just always be like, oh,
touch
him.
Be like, everywhere.
Shoulder touch.
There's a lot more methods, but I haven't liked a boy in a while, so I can't really think of
Yeah, you know, our brains aren't as fresh. But yeah, those are our tips. Clearly it's never worked for us because we are boyfriendless, but you know, it might work for you. So just give it a try. You know, you only live once, so you may as well just go for it. Just risk it for the biscuit.
The way. Don't stop.
Make sure that you give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Even if you didn't enjoy it, maybe you just want to sauce us a thumb.
Because who doesn't like
sauce us a thumb anyway.
And who doesn't like thumbs?
Who doesn't? We are great.
They make us do things.
Opposable thumbs are great. Maybe hit that subscribe button if you want to see more of our faces, because who wouldn't? We will see you soon, hopefully. Goodbye.
Farewell.